Hi, I'm Annie. I was burnt in a fire when I was a baby. I was born into a traveller family. My mum and her husband was white. When I was born, obviously black. It put them in a very difficult situation, and all the authorities at the time thought that they'd done it on purpose and that my mum had tried to kill me. So I was very quickly put into foster care. And I was very lucky. I was fostered by a wonderful family and then adopted when I was 6 years old. So I do feel very, very lucky. But as you can imagine, I've had a few difficulties over my time. The way I share my past with my kids kind of mirrors how my mum, my adopted mum, helped me with it. She always went for the truth. You can't really tell a kid a lie, even if you dress it up as a kindness and say that you don't want to tell them the scary parts of life, because children are brilliant. They won't accept that. They'll be like, well, why did you lie? And so that lie will become the thing. And then you're making it worse than it needs to be. So I think you always have to come at it with truth, no matter what it is. Age appropriate truth, you can dilute it a little bit, but you need to keep the essence the same. You can't hide it. And also another truth that I think adults need to hear, that they don't want to hear, is that unfortunately life is horrible and scary, disgusting, cruel, violent. There's a lot of really bad parts of life. And you can tell your kids the truth about me, for instance, or other people, but you can also say that's a rarity, that doesn't happen often. But unfortunately, that's appropriate. There's kids in countries that go through far worse than we do daily, and they see it all the time because that's their reality. Now, as much as it might be nice for you to try and keep them in the bubble, they're going to find out sooner or later. And again, letting them make their own judgments themselves and allowing them the space to feel the emotions for whatever that comes up for them is a lot better than having to try and pick up the pieces later on down the line. So although it's horrible, and I know that no parent wants to say these things, you not wanting to talk about it has possibly got a little bit more about you not wanting to talk about those things than your child. I've actually never met a kid that doesn't really hates to hear my past. You know what kids are like. They ask 50 questions, they ask another 50 questions, then they say, yeah, great, go get me a drink. They don't care, So really, honestly, just let them understand what happens. And as I say, this is life. We don't get to serve it to them. Life is how it is. And people always say we want resilient children. We want our kids to be free thinkers and understand and be bold and look after themselves. These are the opportunities. Share the real world with them. Let them experience emotions that are appropriate to these things, and just be there for them. This is sad if they want to cry, and then cuddle them. You don't have to say the world is perfect, because it's not, but you can say, I'm here for you. And that's the important thing. So self-care, I certainly wouldn't have coined it self-care growing up, but just keeping myself feeling good, having that nice base has always been so important to me, because I just think that if you have a good level, a good feeling, good level of contentment on your own, then I feel that a lot can go wrong and it doesn't bother you. Self-care has impacted my life only positively, I would say. But it took me a very, very long time to understand that self-care isn't a one and done thing, We don't clean our teeth once, we've got to do it daily. It took me a very long time to understand that you need to pick up different tools, different things to do to look after yourself. And not only that, but they change over the years. What really helped me as a kid, sports, running around, hanging out with my friends, kind of stopped helping me when I was in my mid-20s. I don't want to see 1,000 people, I just want to see a select few people. And then, in my late 20s, I was probably drinking a lot of alcohol, and that was great. At the end of the week, sinking a brewery was good fun, and it did help. But then now in my 30s, that's not helpful at all. Going to bed early, heavily moisturised before 8 o'clock is ideal. Do you know what I mean? These are the things that feel good. And so I think for me, although the rituals have changed over the years, the foundation has always been the same. We need to know how to check in with ourselves and understand that it's important, above other people's opinions, above the to-do list, above the work, the success, the outward things. It really is something that we need to do every day for ourselves. Okay, so self-care for me, in the very real sense, is movement. Like, I find that it's so underrated. And I would like to say, you know, it's all about hitting the gym 3 or 4 times a week. But in reality, for me, actually, I don't need to do that. Just going for a walk really does it for me. Little things like drinking water, it sounds so silly, but, you know, when you're like dehydrated, it's such a big thing. It's such a silly thing to even say, but, you know, I find that there's a real big effect there. And sleep is another big one for me. I need to try to get as much sleep as I can. I'm laughing at myself almost. I've got a toddler and a 9-month-old, so sleep is like a non-entity. But I find that where I don't always get sleep, I try and do just resting, which sounds ridiculous, but, you know, we're very in the age of meditation, and I would love to say that I really understand meditation, I've got it nailed, but I don't really have that. And I think that staring at a brick wall is like a lost art. Do you know, remember we used to go on a bus and we'd sit and stare out the window, you know, or we'd be waiting at the bus stop, or we'd have to walk to work, or, you know, there's so many pockets of time where we'd be able to sit and just be. And I find that we don't have that anymore because we've got phones. And I'm not pointing fingers. I love a scroll, you know, I love it. I'm barely even posted, I'm just creeping on other people. But those moments, I'm not getting that time to just sort of decompress and just, you know, let go. So for me, it really is move, hydrate, and just make sure I can just sit and just do nothing. And it doesn't mean I have to be up at 5 a.m. worshiping in the sun. Often when my little one's asleep, I'll literally cuddle her, let her sleep on me, and I'm just sitting there, staring into space, enjoying the nothing. And I really feel like that helps. And to try and sort of help other people and direct other people, it's those things. It's learning to pick up the smaller things, you know, because I think that especially now when everything's so shiny, new and perfect on socials, we always think that we need to have the perfect workout, the perfect diet plan, we need to get our bloods checked, we need to go and do this, we need to follow this person. And it doesn't need to be like that. You know, self-care, self-improvement is small. There should be small little actionable things that you can do to feel good. And at the moment, I'm working on things that are so close to my heart. You know, I really do believe in feeling good and doing good. You know, people that feel good are more likely to do good. So I want to help people feel good. And I'm just building this campaign. It's called the Well Woman Club. And it's all about fitness, food, and mood. And so I'm really going to give people a base to understand how to feel good. You know, I do think that we get so lost in all these new diet plans, new rules, new this, new that, all these fad things that are coming out. We've kind of actually lost the education and the knowledge that, you know, the industry should be giving us. And so my idea here is really to just share with people so you have a base knowledge on what you can be eating to feel your best, how you can move to feel good, some workouts, some walks, and some talks, exactly, and some talks as well. So when you're speaking to psychologists, I've got a dietitian, I'm going to be chatting about different ways to work on our inner narrative so we feel good, and also trying to help our own anxiety or overwhelm that comes up, which we all get. You know, I think that we like to pretend that we don't all get it, but we do. So yeah, guys, jump in if you can. I'd really like to help you. I think the best advice I can give to someone, if they're going through a hard time, if they're feeling like they're lost or they don't belong, or they're just, you know, they're low and they're on their ass and they're not feeling their best. I've been there a few times. I mean, I really want to give you a magic pill and say, you know what, it's really easy, you know, and slap a big Disney smile on it. But in reality, the best thing you can do is trying to change how you feel at that moment. I think that we underestimate that when you don't feel yourself and you're really scared and you're frustrated or you're anxious or you feel depressed, trying to pick yourself up from that level is really hard. So number one, I would say ask for help. I think that's probably the most resilient thing that you can do, depending on where you are. And then next to that, I would say go back to basics. You know, stop trying to fix something when you're feeling broken. Like, put on a silly movie, you know, watch a comedy, call a pal that you like, that's fun and you can rely on to lift your spirits. Go for a walk, get in nature. Anything to try and change your head. Don't try and go at it and be like, right, I need to get better, I need to pick myself up. Like, I really don't think that's the point to do it. And then when you're starting feeling better, you know, when you've watched big 1,000 times in your pants while you're eating Cocoa Pops, you know, then gone for a walk, then go, right, how can I change what's happening? Because you're going to perceive everything a lot better. You know, it's really hard to look at a difficult situation with, you know, compassion and kindness when you're sad, scared, frustrated. So the best thing you can do is try and feel good, I think, in the moment. And that can be anything, you know, it doesn't have to be big things, small little things. And then from there, try and accept where you are. I know everyone very now wants to say, I love myself, I'm good enough, this works. But sometimes, you know, being honest will give you the key to what you're actually looking for, which is the path to move forward. Because quite often, you know, things go wrong and we say, oh, it's out of our hands, it's this, it's that, the other. But just be honest with yourself, you know, you feel bad, but maybe are you drinking loads, are you going out lots, are you overworking, have you not seen your friends, have you not had any time to yourself, are you sleeping well? There's loads of different things I'm sure we can look at. You're in a weird relationship, you know, there's so many little things that we can look at on ourselves. And that's not to say I hate myself, I'm doing really badly, but it's just to say, where am I at actually? Honestly. And then with that information, you can then say, right, what can I do? And that will give you tools to sort of, with something actionable you can work on. And I find as well, like, everyone like wants to run away from it, but frustration, anger, fear, anxiety, these are all really appropriate feelings to have some of the time. And actually, they can be quite valuable because they give you the clarity to go, what's important, what's not important, you know? So you can sort of say, what do I really want? And it'll help guide you forward. Okay, so with social media, I do think where I am a fan, I love it, I really do. I think we all do. It's the way the world's going. But we do have to sort of step up a little bit and go, right, this is how the world's going to move forward. We need to adapt with it. And we can't rely on it too much, you know. So we've got to be really aware of what we're following, who we're following, why we're following them. Even if they're a fabulous person, their impact on us might not be always ideal. So sometimes you do have to look at who you're following and possibly unfollow accounts. I do recommend really as well following different accounts. I think that one of the worst parts of social media is that, you know, we get so enclosed in our own little weird bubble because we like the things that we like, and we don't actually step out and go, what about that opinion over there? We should be challenged, you know, we should be hearing different opinions. This is where it all goes wrong, and we all in our own little nest of liking and loving, you know. You don't have to follow the 1,000 of the same accounts. Try and follow some random ones, even if you don't always resonate with them, just to sort of open your mind and make yourself a little bit uncomfortable in different ways. So yeah, I would look at that. Try not to keep following the same old accounts. I think that you need to sort of do something a little bit different. And also, we all know it's true, and we never want to do it, me included, is you need to stop being on there so often. And as I say, I put my hand up to it, and I am one of the worst because I'm not even always contributing. I'm sitting there creeping on other people's, in bed at 8 o'clock with my covers up by my chin, and I'm like, yeah, I'm still going out, looking at other people's stories. You know, what am I doing? You know, if I'm in bed, read a book, go to sleep, I shouldn't be scrolling. I think that we need to get out of that, you know, habit of just grabbing our phone. It sounds really silly, but I quite often will set my alarm for like 10 minutes and be like, I can't touch my phone within that time. It sounds like a short amount of time, but genuinely, I'm still like crazy over there grabbing it. So yeah, I would just say, try and unfollow accounts that don't help. Try and broaden who you are following, you know. Go outside your normal realm of who you follow, and also try and, you know, unplug. Self-care has been so important to me. Like, it's been the backbone probably of everything I've done. And I didn't know it then, you know, but if I hadn't have stopped, checked in, figured out how to feel good over the years, I dread to think where I'd be, if I'm honest. I really mean that. I think that if I hadn't stopped, looked after myself, I couldn't do any of the things that I've done right now and feel as good as I do. And in all honesty, I don't ever stop and think, oh, you know, pat myself on the back. But actually, you know, I'm a lot happier than I've ever been. I'm doing things that I'm proud of. And I have to put that down to making sure I take care of myself. And that's the thing that I really want to promote, because I just think that we always think there's so much out of our hands, you know, the world, media, work, school, our relationships, there's so many people, so much noise all the time, but actually we're our biggest impact. You know, we get to say, what am I going to do? What am I going to eat? What am I going to sleep? Am I going to move? Am I going to listen? What thoughts I'm going to believe that I'm telling myself? You know, this is all our choice. We have got so much power. You know, we can really, really help ourselves. And never think, I can't do that because I'm selfish. Everyone wants a happy friend, a happy mum, a happy colleague. You know, everyone wants everyone else to feel good. And remember, when we feel good, we're going to do good. Hi, I'm Annie, and this is my truth.